The Venus Monologues, Lesson Number 4. Dear PSCC, a letter from my silent battlefield. You came for the part of me most men are taught never to talk about. Not honestly, not tenderly. You arrived with jokes, shame, swagger, and the way to silence a room. You came for my penis. There, I said it. You didn't think I would. You came first as something I noticed and hoped would become nothing. A change, a symptom, a private worry in a private place. I did what so many men are trained to do. I tried to explain it away. At least for a few days. I tried to keep moving. I tried to believe my body would correct itself if I gave it a little time. But cancer loves delay. Delays from the ones you start inside of, and the ones people in clinics and insurance companies get wrong. You love those delays. By the time the words became serious, by the time the room changed temperature, by the time doctors stopped speaking in ordinary sentences, my life had already entered a new language. Biopsy, cysto, margins, squamous cell carcinoma, partial penectomy. Partial. What a strange word to place beside an amputation, as though grief can be measured in fractions, as though the mind says, well, at least it was only part, while the body knows better. The body knows when something has been cut away. The body knows when identity has been forced to renegotiate itself overnight, or at least try to do so. I remember the first surgery, partial. I saw the CPT codes and started asking questions. The answer, don't worry about it, wasn't creating trust. I asked about where the procedure would be done and how many nights I would stay in the hospital. The answers seemed shaky. Then the day before, I was told to bring my PSCC to the basement of a clinic and I would be discharged that night. A dear friend, PSCC. I thought you could only attack me from within, but you convinced someone to schedule me into a basement for an outpatient evening. F. No. That was eye-opening. Not just getting penile cancer, but the basement, and being kicked out at night with no time for pain or bleeding management. And then many events after that, adding to my devastating experience. I can think of a number of things PSCC should stand for. Pain scheduled, compassion cancelled, private suffering, clinical confusion, proof silence costs choices. But here is the one you did not plan for. Patient survived, cancer cornered. Because I am still here, PSCC. I am not here as the man you tried to erase. I am here as the man who learned your language, gathered the records, asked the questions, watched the codes, read the pathology, and refused to let embarrassment become your accomplice. You came wrapped in silence. I answered in ink. I remember the sterile light. I remember waking up on the other side of a sentence I never thought would belong to me. I remember trying to be brave before I understood what bravery would cost. And then came the next sentence. Full penectomy. Full. There is no soft landing in that word. Cancer did not take all of me, but it took something I had carried my whole life without ever imagining I would have to say goodbye to it. Not metaphorically, not poetically, surgically. A man is not measured by what cancer can take, but by the truth he keeps and the love he can make. I believe that. But belief does not erase grief. I can know that I am still a man and still mourn what was removed. I can know that masculinity is not anatomy and still feel the shock of waking into a changed body. I can know that survival matters and still miss what survival required. That is the hard part people do not always understand. They want the clean version, the inspirational version, the "you're alive and that's what matters" version. And yes, I am alive, but I am also altered. I have stood in front of mirrors I did not recognize. I have learned new logistics, new language, new pain, new humility. I've carried wounds in places most people are too uncomfortable to name. I've learned that cancer is not only a disease of cells, it is a disease of calendars, confidence, sleep, intimacy, identity, and silence. And still, PSCC, you miscalculated. You thought shame would finish the work surgery started. You thought I would whisper. You thought I would hide behind initials and euphemisms and medical fog. You thought the location of this cancer would protect you. You thought men would be too embarrassed to say where you came from. You thought the world's discomfort would do some of your work for you. That was your mistake. You did not just enter my body, PSCC. You entered my vocabulary. You entered my art. You entered my advocacy. You entered every room where I now say the words other people lower their voices to avoid. You wanted silence. I became documentation. You wanted shame. I became a witness. You wanted me reduced. I became more precise. And if the part of me you came for could speak as my haunted witness, I think it would say this: I was never just anatomy. I was memory, youth, intimacy, pleasure, fear, tenderness, and part of how he first learned to feel whole. You thought taking me would make him smaller. You were wrong. He rose with the less flesh and more fire. I've learned something from you. Silence protects cancer more than it protects men. So I'm saying the words. Penile cancer, partial penectomy, full penectomy, PSCC, amputation, survival, grief, manhood, truth. I'm saying them because some other man is noticing something right now and hoping it is nothing. Some other man is embarrassed. Some other man is waiting. Some other man is afraid his body has betrayed him in the one place he cannot talk about. So let this letter find him before you do. Let him know that asking early is not weakness. Let him know that embarrassment is not a diagnosis. Let him know that his life is worth more than silence. Let him know that if cancer takes tissue, it does not get to take truth. Let him know that a man remains a man when he acts with courage, compassion, honesty, and love. You took pieces from me. You took the easy version of my body. You took the old assumption that tomorrow would resemble yesterday. You took sleep and replaced it with scans. You took privacy and replaced it with pathology. You took certainty and left me with research notes, questions, assays, and storms at 4 a.m. But you did not take my voice. You did not take my ability to learn. You did not take my stubborn curiosity. You did not take my love. You did not take my art. You did not take my refusal to look away. I am still here, not untouched, not unchanged, not pretending this was easy. Still here. And if there is one thing I want the world to understand, it is this. Cancer can amputate flesh. It can scar the body. It can change how a man moves through the world, but it does not get the final word on who he is. That belongs to me. Ty.